Welcome to iHeartGeek. And welcome to yet another supplemental show with me, Dub, and my good buddy Kaj. How you doing, bud?
How's it going, Dubs?
Yo, you know what we just did before we actually recorded this, or sat down to record this? We actually sat down, we watched the movie that we're going to talk about, and we'll get to that in just a second. Before that, we were playing Cards Against Humanity. Now, we had the best winning hand. I mean, this is a family-friendly show, so of course we can't say 99.9% of everything that we you throw out on that one. But I gotta have Kaj here talk just for a second. Tell me, what was the winning hand tonight? It is on his Facebook, by the way.
All right, so this was kind of an amazing just turn of events in Cards Against Humanity. So the black card was, what's a total waste of Hillary Clinton's time? And just hearing that, I looked at my deck and the card just kind of flew out and just kind of went to the judge.
This sounds so artful when you say it like this.
It just flew out, just went to the judge, and the judge reads the other two responses,
which were pretty good, by the way.
Which were really good, and then all of a sudden she just starts laughing hysterically, and Dubs is like, "What's going on, honey?" He goes, and this was the response. Okay, so what's the total waste of Hillary Clinton's time? Becoming the president of the United States. We couldn't plan it, but like I was a big Hill supporter, I was a big Bernie supporter, but it just, when it's comedy, you got to do it.
That is a 1 in a million chance of getting that. That was amazing. Thank you, Cards Against Humanity, for providing yet another exciting and interesting night to what would be a boring night of us watching an old movie.
Yeah, played and good game.
Now, getting to the old movie that we're going to discuss tonight.
It's not old.
It's 27 years old.
No, it's not old. It's old. I refuse. That movie's not old to me.
We are going to be talking about the 1989 version of Batman. I'm Batman. Fantastic movie. In fact, we sat down and we rewatched all of it so that we'd kind of be fresh for this. If there's a seat that's missing here because there's supposed to be another microphone all set up, but some people, Spike, are too good, Spike. To come and come and just do our podcast with us, Spike. So, but not naming any names, Spike. So yeah. I love playing the blame game. It's one of my favorite things. So we'll limp by without him this time, I guess.
That's it. We'll make sure that Spike is taken care of.
Okay. Now, spoiler warning: if you haven't gotten to this movie in the last 27 years, you're probably not going to watch it in the first place. But if you haven't gotten to it yet,
Bruce Wayne is Batman.
What? I had some people that said, "Why you didn't just say spoilers till it was too late on the last Suicide Squad?" Shut up. But yeah, so spoiler warning: if you haven't watched it in 27 years, I guess turn the podcast off because you probably won't like a geek show if you haven't watched Batman.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
So now, first off, I loved this movie growing up. This is me and Contract sitting around laughing our butts off. Because after all these years, we were quoting the movie as it goes,
verbatim, like without missing a beat.
It was frightening. We had a discussion for a second, and I saw it 5 times in the theaters. He saw it like 7 times in the theaters. I owned the video, and I literally wore the VCR tape out on this movie.
Back when I was younger, 19 from
He's older than me, and I'm old, so
my parents would send me off to North Carolina to visit my grandmother.
Talkie movies?
Yeah, we and color too, which was amazing. Yeah, it was all the real, the flip phone, the flipper one,
phone.
the flip phone, the flipping projector. But the theater wasn't too far away from the house, from my grandmother's house. So I would go down there all the time and be like, I'm bored, grandmother. Could you send me, could I go see a movie? And she's like, sure, give me $5, people. And that was for like the movie ticket, like a soda and some candy, $5.
When he walked to school in the snow both ways, uphill, while being chased by wolves. I'm sorry.
Killing a bear with my loose leaf notebook, all that stuff. And so, like, I remember the summer of '89 and just watching Batman as many times as I possibly could.
So, yeah. So, with that being said, we saw this movie a lot. Honestly, there's some things about it that don't hold up, but a lot of it really does.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's something that, I'm looking at a lot more critical eye after all these years, but in the first time you see Batman, it's animated. I mean, it's not just animated; it's badly animated. It's Fleischman era Superman badly animated.
Like he turns around and like the cape kind of just wraps around in a weird kind of like almost like Maleficent from the old Disney.
Spawn would have been proud,
right? Like, wow, man.
Yeah. So anyway, there are things that definitely don't hold up, but kind of go into it when you watch it again. And I do suggest watching it again. Just go into it, kind of bringing yourself back to that time that you first saw Batman. Now, okay, yeah. Well, what I kind of before you go back and watch it again. My kid comes down. We were quoting it, laughing, having a great old time. My kid goes, "Why did you waste so much time watching this? This movie, it's not that good, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, well, you know what? You have about these kids today, back in my day, but these kids today, we have 100 superhero movies to watch, ranging from great to horrible.
Right.
At any time, we can flick it on our DVRs or whatever it is that we have, our completely legal devices that we watch movies on. Now, this was all we had. We had this, and, if you go back another 10 years, you have the 1978 Superman.
Right, Superman.
So, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot, and that wasn't even on video. I never had that on video. So that was our option. We got Batman. That's why I have this love for it.
Right.
And I kind of miss that.
Yeah, just the first wonderment of like seeing these characters jump off the page and actually get into a movie where you can see a live action version of it. And it even like when we were watching it tonight, it just filled my heart. It just made me smile because I still remember like going into the movie theater and just
brings
watching
you right back.
Just watching Keaton just kind of kick some tail as Batman.
Now, what's weird is you go back and I remember this movie being so dark. There could never be a movie this dark ever again. This is like The Exorcist. This is harsh. This is bad. This is scary. When Joker falls and that laugh and it's gonna give you nightmares. And now this is like Saturday morning cartoons compared to what's happening anymore. There could never be a Batman that dark again. Yeah, there kind of is.
Kids are eating cereal, watching. This movie's great.
This is Walking Dead's fun, guys. Yeah. But yeah, that's just something I really kind of. It's funny how times change, and yes, I know I'm sounding like a fuddy-duddy right now. I even use the term fuddy-duddy.
Reminiscing.
Yeah, reminiscing.
Yeah.
But it's. We were talking about when Batman went from the 66 Batman to eventually the 89 Batman when we thought it was dark. And we're talking Neil Adams, and that was in the 70s. And I didn't even realize that 'cause I never really noticed that Batman started getting dark. This is when I noticed it, was around the death of Jason Todd. Because that's when, to me, everything started getting dark. But, Kaj really brought up, Neil Adams back in the day really took it to a darker place.
Yeah, I know that they were just about to, I know I don't think I have my facts 100% correct, but
you probably don't.
But I've watched a lot of documentaries where it was Neil Adams and some of the older writers that are there, and they saw the 60s version of Batman, and they're like,
can't be cheesy.
Can't be cheesy, over the top, and they're like, no, like they were looking at the 60s version of it, and they're like, Batman is just much more darker. Like, he lives in at nighttime, and he's kind of the shadow of Gotham to make sure that people are protected at night. And so then they just started writing much more darker, much more adult version of Batman.
That a kid could still sink their teeth into.
A little bit. Well, even for that the adults can actually get into it as well. And it kind of, that grew in more in popularity of like, yes, this is the Dark Knight this is the Batman that we've wanted, and please keep going with this.
Well, I was doing some research on this when we started talking about doing this. And this actually, the whole dark thing, social awareness, I guess, started with the hard traveling heroes, which was Green Arrow, Green Lantern, very, very famous storyline. And that's where, and Neil Adams got to start there, and that's where comics kind of turned around into, what we see today as far as, pre-Watchmen, but it had that darker theme, and it really, let's say something. Let's not just, hey kids, we're gonna go out and stop the bank robber. Ha ha, got him. it just went to something that was a lot deeper than that.
They tapped into the almost the adult side of it. It's like, look, this can still be a comic, and kids can read it, but they definitely put more reality based stuff into the comics back then to kind of even hook the adults to even read these comics as well.
Yeah, and what they've done so well, and this has turned into more of a gush fest for comic books than anything, but is that really a kid can sit down and read these books and really catch it at a surface level. But I mean, and some adults can do it too, like me. But if more advanced kids and some more intelligent adults can go through it, they can really read subtext, and we can really find out, just dig into that, and like, what are they really saying here? And that's what I love. It's the reading between the panels that they've invented.
Right.
It's like, well, what happened between this panel and that panel? It's like, oh wow, and you can read a whole story that was never written, and it's really amazing how that works out like that now.
Right. And that's one of the great things about Batman as well, is that Batman's human. Like a lot of the superheroes around, they have powers. He had
nothing.
Superman is literally just a god. Yeah, he's a god that nobody can really beat. But Batman really strikes a chord with just the human psyche of like, this is a person that is just like
broken.
Me, that can be hurt, and that can go through psychological trauma, and that can really bring in those adult issues or human issues to the forefront as well.
Okay, well, let's actually go into the movie itself now. Okay. There's some things we were laughing at. The first one is the love scene between Vicky Vale and Bruce Wayne, which was just laughable. It's okay. Well, first off, before we even get to that, and I mentioned this when we were watching it, since when does freaking Bruce Wayne wear glasses?
Right. Like,
is he Clark Kent now?
No, he's never worn glasses.
And a perm.
Before.
Got the perm.
Right? I was waiting for him to say, like, when he's got her pressed up against the stairs and everything, he's like, "I'm Batman." Then it would have been all right. It would have been fine. But yeah, like, I don't think, and wire grim glasses as well too.
The Harry Potter ones almost. It was amazing. But what we were laughing at is, why is it he couldn't sleep, and he's Batman? So I guess that that's the director's name?
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton decides, it'd be a really good idea. This is so goth because I'm so goth. He's going to be a bat. So he's going to hang upside down. Wait. And he's going to pretend he has wings and flap his wings as he sleeps upside down. What?
I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm going to throw down the gauntlet, and I think I know why. Okay. I think I know why Mr. Burton.
I'd like to hear it, because he doesn't read comic books.
That's exactly it. He has admitted that he never read any of the Batman comics before doing the movie itself, and I think that really was it was definitely it was a turn in the wrong direction of, like, he wanted to make it quirky and funny, and it just kind of like, we've been growing up with Batman being more dark and adult. Now it's like, we don't need that much comedy in a Batman movie. Sorry.
Because we're at the age that, everybody that watched it was at the age that we were too young for the 66 Batman. We always found it campy and cheesy. Now we can go back and appreciate it, but it was cheesy and blah blah blah.
It was kind of like our Yo Gabba Gabba of our day.
Exactly. It was a children's show,
right?
Which, as I say, I can still go back and appreciate the things that they did with that show.
Julie Newmar.
Oh yeah.
Even Eartha Kitt. Yes, I will even say.
Yes. See, Batman. Everyone always has to go into that accent,
right?
But that's where I'm glad that Michael Keaton really seems to love the source material, and that's why we were able to get that good of a Batman. Because I don't think it had very little to do with Burton, in my own opinion.
Of that, why it was so, like,
why it was good.
Why it was good. Okay.
Why it really did feel like Batman. And this is Michael Keaton, who literally, there was 50,000 people signed a petition that he should not be Batman. Did you know?
I didn't know that. No.
I just found this out tonight, actually. This is before the internet, guys. Now we have internet rage over everything.
Oh, man.
50,000 people literally signed and sent a stamped letter in that he shouldn't play Batman.
Which in today's economy would be what, like 50 million?
At least. Now, and if you want to But now this is for a little praise for Keaton. And by the way, I think he was a inspired choice. I wouldn't have ever thought that he would have pulled a good Batman, Bruce Wayne. But for the time, I don't think anybody could have done better.
I agree with you on that. I don't think that there would have been anybody
every
better.
Bruce Wayne and Batman that we've seen in the modern era is building off of that. And it's not copying, but it's a building. It's that was the baseline to make a good Batman
to a certain extent. So now I'm confused a little bit. So what did Michael Keaton actually do? What has been his contribution besides being one of the first Batman on TV? Like what is the other contributions he's done?
Well, this is the biggest contribution that they had. I don't know if you're aware, but anytime anybody plays the Batman voice, this is their Bruce Wayne, and this is their Batman. Now, that had nothing to do with Burton, because Burton just wanted it to be the same character. He didn't, but Keaton was very adamant, and we got to make him different. We got to make Batman different from Bruce Wayne. Otherwise, this whole double identity is stupid, because I can't see your cheekbones, so I can't figure out who you are.
So kind of like the Superman thing, like take
took
off
off my glasses.
Yep. Okay.
Just silliness. And he's very much a realist, and he wanted to put something else different. There's a couple things he asked for. He didn't get it, but he asked for colored contacts to make his eyes different, which that's a pretty inspired choice.
That's a
and if he would have gotten away with it, they would have been doing that in the Batmans today.
Mm-hmm.
Now, but what he did get was he's the one that lowered his voice. That was not a Burton thing. That was 100%. He goes, well, I'm going to play Batman with at least an octave lower of everything that I say. And
okay.
Like, wow. I mean, who would have thought of that?
It's just something very simple, but it just throws everything off.
Mm-hmm.
It makes them two completely different people.
Yeah, if he would not have done that, Batman would have failed. I don't think we'd see a Batman movie today. I really believe that.
Okay.
I believe that subtle thing was that important. It made you buy into it.
I think it's significant, and I think it'd be a great choice, but I don't think it would have failed it.
Well, do you think they would have been doing the Batman, I'm Batman?
I'm pretty sure that eventually somebody would have done that, because it just sounds like a simple choice, like it's a simple acting choice that you can do. But leave it to Keaton to be the first one to think about it, which is awesome.
Yeah, but it was, as I say, he is the building block, and because it was such a universal movie, that is where you have to do what he did in certain aspects. Now, there were some terrible things about this. I don't know if you knew this. The costume, 50 pounds.
Good Lord.
Constantly. When he had it on, he couldn't hear at all, anything. He had to read lips.
That's awesome.
Did you ever notice why he kind of stares whenever you're watching that movie? Whenever he's talking to somebody,
because he's trying to listen to you.
Because he couldn't hear anything at all. His head couldn't move.
Well, you can definitely see that in the watching the movie. Like, instead of just turning his head to the left or right, he literally has to move his body left or right just to see somebody.
Which did make the fight scenes a little clunky.
Yeah.
That's a good word for it, clunky. It was. But honestly, I mean, there was a lot of good in that movie. Now, I don't know if you knew this, and I looked through some factoids today, so this is kind of where I'm pulling some of this out of. But Keaton actually is claustrophobic completely. When he was in the costume, he said he felt so miserable, and that's why he was able to create the Batman that he created.
Because he was so upset about being in the suit anyway. He's
because
like,
Batman has to be miserable.
I'm just gonna beat up everybody.
Exactly.
Well, here's a nice little fun fact that we were talking about this today, that Keaton just recently, probably about a couple of years ago, made the movie Birdman. Mm-hmm. That's a wonderful, like me being an actor. If you're an actor of any way, shape, or form, you've probably seen it 30,000 times already. But
1,000? I think you're exaggerating. I've told you a million times not to exaggerate on the show.
So in the special features of the Birdman movie, they were having an interview with Michael Keaton, and they said that for the suit of Birdman, they actually went back and got that 1989 Batman suit and put it back on him, and then that was the mold that they used for the Birdman
He stayed
suit.
in shape, 27 years or 25 years at that point? I think?
Well, even he was surprised. He's like, I cannot believe that this fits.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you look at the old suit, and it did not fit him well, though. I mean, it's because it was a little because it's all of it was rubber and it's before bat nipples, thank God.
Right.
But I mean, when he'd bend, you could see the suit just bend a little bit. It's like, oh well, maybe there was a little room in there, but that had to make it a big sweat pocket in there.
Right.
Oh,
right.
that had to be miserable.
Man, just the worst case of swamp butt ever.
Yeah, so 2 movies obviously was enough for Mr. Keaton.
Right. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna pass the cowl on somebody else.
Let's let somebody else. I heard Val Kilmer's available.
Is that who took it next?
Yes.
Yeah, Kilmer, then Clooney, correct?
Final answer.
Yeah.
Kilmer, Clooney, and then Bale.
Okay, now let's rank these guys real quick. I've got some other Batman stuff I want to talk about, but
Okay.
let's rank these real quick. And I would put, and let's go from Keaton. We have.
Are we excluding Conroy?
We're excluding Conroy because he gets an instant pass, just like we exclude Batman the Animated Series.
Okay.
That's everybody's number one. There's reasons why you'd exclude him, mainly because it's not really the same contest.
Right.
Because, that animator's right. He never had to go through the pain of the suit.
Right. But the voice,
Oh, it's perfect. But, okay, let's say we have Keaton, we have Kilmer, we have Clooney, and we have Nolan. How would you rank them? And let's look at let's run it as Batman and as Bruce Wayne because they have 2 very different characters.
Okay, gosh. Well, I've always said this many a times that I loved Keaton as Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm. I'd agree with that.
He has a swagger,
except
of Bruce
for the
Wayne.
Let's Get Nuts.
Well, let's get.
That was terrible.
There's a couple of acting
bad.
choices. Well, and like you said, Bruce Wayne's a ladies' man, and him being awkward around Vicky Vale just didn't suit the style.
happen.
But the look, he definitely had the look of Bruce Wayne. Now for Batman, I will go with Kilmer because I like
that's an interesting choice.
I like the larger than life, tall. Even just his physique just looked like
so
more
that's
like
your
a
number
Batman,
ones on that.
Yes, but I do give shout outs to Bale. I think he's probably all around one of the best Batmans that we've had, and I even I'm still waiting to see about Affleck. Like I really enjoyed him in Batman versus Superman, but he's got his own solo movie coming out, so we'll see what he can do.
Yeah, I'd actually put Keaton as my Bruce Wayne just because, and honestly, it's more from a nostalgia factor than anything else.
Okay.
But I'm going to give, honestly, because I have a feeling that he's going to be better, is the number 2 on both spots to Affleck.
Okay.
I see. I talk a lot about potential on this show.
Wait, hold on just a second. Is that Jason at the door?
He's angry Jason. Angry Jason. He's going to come yell at me now. Oh, you caught me off guard on that one. But no, I think Affleck is fantastic. I think he's going to be fantastic. I don't think we've seen even a tenth of what he's going to be doing with this character. He's learned a lot since Daredevil.
I think he's taken his lickings through Daredevil, and I think he knows better now. He knows how to treat a comic book character or one of those kind of entities now much better than what he did before.
Well, honestly, you know what? One of the best things that he could have done, and this, I'm going to catch hell for this, but I think one of the best things he could have done is that he got away from Kevin Smith. Because Kevin Smith is the ultimate cheerleader.
Okay.
I've gone on record. I'm a Kevin Smith fan. I love Kevin Smith. However, he looks at comic books strictly as comic books, so therefore the cheesy factor and all that is okay with him.
Okay.
Now, with today's Batman, he couldn't be that. That's what Daredevil was. It was cheesy. It was muggy. It was trying to be Batman, but not. It's basically everything wrong with the comic book movie.
Right.
And that was when he had all that influence from Smith. Now, he's far removed from Kevin Smith. I guess they haven't talked in years and blah, 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 blah. But he still loves the source material and all that, which that's very important. But now he's getting his own take on it, and I feel like it's a more serious take, and it feels better.
Right. Well, and he's got a couple of directing, notches under his belt. And all, I mean, with even you can just say with Argo, like he can use all of that knowledge that he got from Argo and then put it into the Batman movie of like
and all that
what
Bruce
is
Willis,
right and wrong.
that Bruce Willis nod from
No, totally,
Armageddon. There you go.
Totally.
Was it me and you that were talking about that Armageddon the other day?
No.
Okay, well, yeah, it's another conversation for another time.
That's another supplement.
Okay, so let's go back to Batman itself. I don't know if you remember this. MTV had a contest, and I wanted to win this contest so bad. And they literally, the contest was called Steal the Batmobile. And the guy that played the reporter, Knox, he did all the commercials. He goes, now, I wouldn't want Batman mad at me for stealing the Batmobile, but that's on you. Ha ha, all this, the ultimate cheese. And that was the summer of Batman. Okay. Everything was Batman everywhere. Batman Taco Bell, Batman McDonald's.
7-Eleven had it.
7-Eleven, the toys were everywhere. So, I mean, of course, everybody wanted the Batmobile. Now, the entries into this were like record-breaking for MTV at the time. I don't know if they still stand up today, but at the time they were record-breaking. Now, they gave away the Batmobile, and clearly in the commercials, Knox says, now, we're taking away some of the rough edges so you guys don't break your butts on it. Okay, so you assume, okay, they're going to take that, what do they call it, the turret and all that away from, in the back, so it's not going to burn you up as you're... Okay, yeah, I get that. They're going to take the guns away. That's another issue we'll talk about later. And the missiles and all that other stuff. Okay. Fine, they're going to take that away. Now, what they didn't tell you is they took away the engine out of the car. They had to push it off the truck to the lucky, quote-unquote, winner, who then had to pay like $150,000 or $150,000 worth of taxes on that vehicle. So that was like the ultimate screw job.
But what? No, if it doesn't have an engine, then why am I paying $150,000 in taxes?
Because that's what it was worth.
I'd be selling that back to him.
I would be so mad.
Like, you can have the Batmobile, that's fine.
But how cool would it be to have the Batmobile?
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet.
That would be free. Which Batmobile would you take? You could pick one Batmobile, and it's fully loaded.
Oh,
we're just going on rabbit trails. I apologize. Just bear with us.
Oh, this is going to be tough. Oh, because I like the '89 Batmobile. Mm-hmm. I like the Tumbler, the one that they have in Batman Begins. I like the '63 classic Batmobile as well.
That's which one I'd take.
Yeah, because that's just classy. That's
it's cool,
and you can drive it, and it's
the most recognizable.
Get pulled over.
Oh, and I bet you if you get pulled over, they let you out of the ticket.
Right, but you have to wear the Batman costume.
Oh, heck yeah! No, I think there's 7 of them still left out there, and I've heard stories of one of the guys that has it was talking about cops will pull him over all the time because he speeds in it. And as long as he gives them a ride in it, they write the ticket off.
That's how you get away from the cops.
So that's kind of an amazing little deal. Now, some of the cheesiness factors of things that people hated about the movie was, and you had an argument with me on it, is Batman doesn't use guns, well, at least post-comic code, so which was 60s or whatever.
Correct.
Batman hasn't used guns since then. Now this movie is full of guns. There's a 50 caliber Gatling gun on the Bat Jet, I guess that is.
Yeah, the Batwing.
Yeah, and there's some definite guns and missiles that come out of the Batmobile itself. Now you say that doesn't count as guns. I say it definitely does.
Well, I don't consider it guns because I feel that he uses
bullet, bang.
I think he uses those weapons. He uses that artillery to stop like the bigger, like the vehicles itself, like to shut them out of commission.
Because Batman doesn't kill, right?
Yeah, and if you look at the movie, it looks like they might have grazed him, but it doesn't look like it's a hit. Like it doesn't look like he actually kills them.
So when he goes into the chemical plant and he takes the little bomb out and drops the bomb and blows it up with the 50 thugs right there, that didn't kill anybody?
That's a concussion grenade. What are you talking about?
With all the fire going out of the...
That was just the backlash, the backdraft of the fire that was there already.
Okay, you're so full of crap right now. This is painful.
See, that's why Tim Burton didn't read the comics.
Yeah, that was terrible. But we do have to talk about this. Your favorite scene from this movie?
He shoots the Gatling gun and the missiles and everything, but then the Joker pulls out this like Clint Eastwood 35 long single shot barrel and takes down the Batwing.
Which is I'm very curious about that. He was bending his leg and walking around everywhere, but this sucker had a 3-foot long barrel to this. And by the way, if you know guns at all, that doesn't make a difference at all, the length of the barrel. It's not going to make you so that you can take I'll assume it's a 44 caliber bullet to be able to put down the
Wouldn't that just when the barrel just smack him in the face for the recoil? Like if he points it, boom, hits him in the face.
Maybe. But which is going to make so he has 0 accuracy with it, by the way.
Right.
Because he's holding it with one hand, and that's impossible. And I'm a gun freak. But yeah, that's impossible to do that. and then my favorite part of it is when after he kidnaps Vicky Vale, he takes it and he slides it down like it's got a telescoping, like it's a telescoping car antenna or something. And then it's down to like the
now it's just a regular gun, yeah.
Yeah, so and now it's probably just if he shoots it, the flag comes out and it says bang.
I'm sure that you could buy that at any gun store somewhere.
Now, another thing we're talking about, how cheesy it is. And you love this scene as the bat plane goes up into the sky. And instead of fighting everybody, he goes farther and farther into the sky. And boom, it gets the selfie shot with the... against the moon silhouette, and it's the most beautiful picture. Then it drops down. I find it cheesy. And who was supposed to be up there to see this? Because it was covered by cloud cover, so none of the bad guys on
Superman.
Wow, you just blew my mind.
Boom.
Okay,
It's cool. I'm Batman.
it's really not cool.
That's my response to that entire interrogation. I'm Batman.
There you go. I guess. Now, and then the let's see, what's some other cheesy things we found from it? Alfred should have been fired.
Yes.
Go into that.
I will
Would
totally.
you have fired your closest friend Alfred for doing what he did?
Yes, I would totally fire him or at least suspend him for a couple of weeks because like he's having this brooding moment where he's like reminiscing about his parents' death, and then he finally realizes that Jack Napier or the Joker has killed his parents, and then all of a sudden,
which didn't happen, by the way.
Which didn't happen technically. And then Alfred comes in with Vicky Vale, like showing like, sir, I'm giving her permission to see you in the Batcave. And then you see him turn around. It's like, no, you're fired. No, you do not bring anybody in here without my permission.
Yeah, that was he unilaterally made the choice.
Yeah. Like, you're not my dad. You don't tell me what to do. Get her out of here.
Well, he kind of is his dad.
Well, sort of, yeah.
Sort of. I mean, and how bad would you feel for firing Alfred?
Right. Yeah. I love the guy.
I mean, the guy literally has given up his life for you.
Well, and he stitched me up how many times?
Oh, had to be millions.
Yeah, and like got me a nice glass of juice or food
and bought me that thing so that I can lay upside down like a bat.
Yeah. See, he's a great guy. Okay, Alfred, you're back on. All right, that's fine. You're rehired.
No, yeah, there's a lot of fun little cheesy moments in it.
Let's bring up the one that you like the most.
Which one?
When Bruce loses it over at Vicky Vale's apartment.
I hated that so much because it's the most un-Bruce, un-Batman moment. Batman and Bruce never, ever, 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 ever lose control. That's the kind of the charm of Batman.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens? He sees Joker, and they're exchanging words. And I got something else to say about that. I'll get back to that in a second. But he takes out the fireplace poker. Yes, kids. Back in the day, we had fireplaces. And you had 3 instruments, and they were fire pokers and a shovel and something else that was another type of fire poker. Doesn't matter. Anyway, so he takes it, starts smashes a vase or something. Yeah. Screams, "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts!" And it's terrible. It was the most uncharacteristic thing for Batman or Bruce Wayne to do. He would never lose it like that.
Either one of them would never do that. So and then he pulls out with the Joker pulls out the gun and says the famous line, "Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?"
I just like the way it sounds of it.
And then you just see Bruce stop like, "What?"
And then that puts it all together. Ooh, and he gets shot. Spoiler. Okay, but he had a thing in his pants, so a silver tray actually. And how did he know the Joker wasn't going to shoot for the head?
That is, he just got lucky.
Now Batman always has the bright yellow thing. He has the bright yellow symbol right there, and it's enforced so that is the place where people aim, and that's where it's got the most protection. Mm-hmm. How would he even consider? Okay, well, he's gonna shoot me in the chest, not in the head. I'm gonna go. When he shot Bob, I'm saying, yeah.
Well, think of it this way. Like, I'm going to go wild on this one and say that I think back in the 80s, you weren't allowed to shoot in the head because if you look at Joker when he shoots Bob, he shoots him in the chest as well.
Oh, yeah, he did, didn't he? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that's one of my least favorite parts.
I'm trying to think of was there any other people that got shot in that movie? Oh, besides Bruce's parents.
Oh, yes. I can give you one. Oh, that was harsh, though. That was awesome. No, they shot the parents in the head, and he shot in the boardroom when Joker first introduced himself, and he's wearing all the weird, unclown makeup. I believe he shoots the one guy in the head.
No, doesn't he shock him? Doesn't he shock the guy at the end?
Oh, yeah, he does. He shocks him and fries him. And I just watched this an hour ago.
It's all right. You're making up for the whole Suicide Squad supplement last time, so it's fine.
Well, some of us knew that Poison Ivy was there, some didn't. I'm just saying.
Guilty.
See, there was another couple things I wanted. Oh, something I thought was a really interesting little subtext that they threw in there, and this is more Tim Burton than anybody, is that they made Batman and Joker so psychologically similar. When Bruce walks into Vicky Vale's apartment, he looks around, nice place. Got lots of room in here, I like this. And then 10 minutes later, Joker walks in and goes, hey, nice place. There's lots of room in here. I like it. Giving them kind of a very similar psychological makeup just from that, that I thought was kind of an interesting thing that most people didn't hit on. It's sort of like, when you go apply to be a police officer, there's like 3 points difference between criminal and cop. So I think that could be what he's saying. I don't know, but it was an interesting point to draw.
Like he's making them. They're both human. No,
it's not even human. They're both damaged.
Right.
They're both psychopaths. Which he lays down. He sleeps upside down. So that might have something to do with it.
Well, they're both a little crazy in their own aspects. It's just that one went completely left and one went completely right.
Yep.
Or it's like the Joker always says, you could have been me. It just happened to be one bad day.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a killing joke for you.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes, that will definitely be a show later.
Oh, yeah. But we got to get the rest of the gang on that one.
Yeah, because they'll kill us, I think, if we do it without. So what do you think? Okay, let's kind of close this up. Do you think
there's one more?
Fire away.
One more person that we have to recognize. Prince.
Bob.
Yeah, he was great.
Bob was the best character.
Love the actor. Love the character. He's great.
Yeah.
But the music, Prince and Danny Elfman, who a lot of people probably know with The Simpsons or Nightmare Before Christmas
or Oingo Boingo.
Oh yeah, Dead Man's Party.
Yep. You forgot about that one. Yes.
One of my favorites. Yeah, but even the music kind of helped out a lot with the impact of how the movie is too. Like just Danny Elfman's just really dark and brooding music that just kind of puts you in that sense of danger, and then Prince's music that just it's like light and fun and just kind of Joker-esque
party.
Yeah, party.
Yeah. With the no, I don't know if you knew this. Tim Burton, that was one of his biggest critiques, is the way that the Prince soundtrack was used, which I couldn't disagree more. I don't know anybody my age that didn't buy that soundtrack and CD.
Twice.
Everybody had it. I'd still say it's a very exceptional CD. And what was different from that they did that no one did at that time is when you'd buy a soundtrack back in the day, there'd be 10 artists, 10 different songs. This was all Prince.
Yes.
And it wasn't even necessarily songs that were from the movie itself, but it was either songs that were in or it was inspired by.
Right.
Now, like Arms of Orion, that wasn't in it, but that fit the movie. I'm like, you listen to that and like, wow, this is so the movie right here.
Right.
It was really a great...
Was that the same one where... Because I remember there was a video where he made up in half Batman, half Joker.
That was Bat Dance or that was Party Man. They did 2 of them.
Okay. Yeah, I remember, and it was kind of like a hip hop, like a Vicky Vale. Vicky Vale.
I like Batman. Yeah, that's Bat Dance.
Yeah.
Go on iTunes. I know it is there because I already bought it there. It's definitely worth your 99 cents to go pick up Bat Dance. It's a 12-minute or 7-minute epic, just assault to the senses. Prince plays every instrument on it. It'll really it's as much as it's cheeseball in its 80s. It really is the genius of Prince.
It'll put a smile on your face.
Because if you gotta go with a smile. He's been using Brand X.
Smilex.
You don't look happy, yeah. So closing this up, what would you rate this movie then as compared to what would you rate it now?
All right, back then.
No nostalgia factor.
Oh.
Back then, you can have the nostalgia factor, but for the one today, no nostalgia factor. How does it stand out?
So let me recalculate that for half a second. Well, back in the day, 10 and a half.
Absolutely.
Like just
I'd put
inner
it a
child.
12 out of 10. Yeah.
Like seven times throughout the summer. Yeah, you gotta give it a 10. I like before watching it tonight. I watched it a couple of months ago. I think I said that on one of the podcasts, and I feel it still holds up today, even with all of the little tricks and even just the little things that you definitely notice growing as an adult. I still think it's a great movie. I'd definitely give it an 8.
Well, I'd say, back then it was a 12 out of 10, best movie I'd ever seen. And I'm trying my very hardest to take the nostalgia factor out, but with a couple of tweaks that they could do very, very easily, I would probably rate it with a C+, B-, standing up to today's Marvel Universe, standing up to today's DC. Keaton, probably not. There'd have to be some minor tweaks that would happen. But with a couple of minor tweaks, I think it could definitely reach that $1 billion mark. Just it was that good of a movie. The script was. I say there's changes that would have to happen.
Right.
But I think this could definitely reach that $1 billion mark. That's the benchmark anymore.
This is the movie that people want to see. This is the one that they've been hunkering for.
Oh, this honestly to me is every bit as good as Guardians of the Galaxy in its time.
Right. Absolutely.
If Guardians of the Galaxy would have been made back then, if they could have made it with the same people, blah blah, it would have been Batman. Right. It's that good.
Right.
All right. Okay, so I guess this time we'll close up because this is my second time trying to close. Was there?
Wait. Holy, we completely forgot one character in this whole big discussion.
We got Alfred. We got Knox.
Not Knox. Not Vicky Vale.
We didn't get Two-Face.
We didn't. Well, Two-Face was. Because Harvey Dent. Because Harvey Dent. Yes.
Yeah. Man, I wish we could have seen that.
That would have been like in Batman Returns, and have him turn into Harvey. Have him turn into Two-Face as Harvey Dent.
That he would have so outplayed.
Epic.
Oh my gosh.
No.
So who was the genius that missed that one?
Yeah. So here's a person that we forgot to talk about.
What minor character did we forget?
The Joker.
Oh, I'm stupid.
We completely. Maybe just because it was a given. Like, oh no, yeah.
Well, we've been talking about his lines. We haven't really said he played some great parts.
Nicholson is. Like Heath Ledger to me is definitely a Joker that is up there in the top 5, but Nicholson just takes the cake. Like he is amazing in this role.
And I will honestly say this: I put him up against Hamill. I put him up against Heath Ledger. I think he played the part better. That's high praise because he played. I mean, especially with what he had to work with before, which was Cesar Romero, who wouldn't shave his mustache and just had that very literal interpretation of the
clown
Joker.
Goofiness. There wasn't really any darkness to him. It was just him being funny.
Something so dark behind him.
It's like he's like, I'll take your Cesar Romero and I'll raise you the dark and broody, maniacal
dad from Christmas Story.
Yeah, totally. It's like even now, like just when he's sitting on his ex-boss's desk and he's like, a winged freak terrorizes, and then he turns around and he's got that maniacal.
Get a load of me.
Yeah, just that sets the tone of the movie, and it's just awesome. I love it.
And it didn't feel like he was trying to be. It just felt like he was.
Yeah, he totally embodied the character.
Now, I before he became Joker, though, the Jack Napier character, I have no love for. I don't like the way he played him at all.
Okay.
He was just, he was like we were talking when we were watching the movie, all the gangsters are very much just caricatures of 40s gangsters. Yeah, see, I'm gonna take you, I'm gonna blow you up. See,
Right.
That's just how they all feel. To me, anyway, big fat gangsters with the pinstripe suit,
Right.
and he was no different. So I don't know if that was an intentional choice or if he just didn't give a crap,
I
or if he just didn't know his character.
I feel that it was probably intentional because he knew that he was going to be turning into something that was just larger than life. So with being Jack Napier, he just wanted to be the mundane. It might have even been a little fun or interesting to see him played him as like the Killing Joke, where how he was very meek and very
that I could have seen.
and like how he's been portrayed, like through how bad, like, because he was not a part of this organization and he just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. And then when Batman tried to save him, he couldn't, and then fell into the vat of chemicals and then turned into the Joker. And that's when he went mad. So maybe it was just kind of like he was just wanting to be on the even keel of like, okay, I'm a gangster. Like, this is my boss. I don't tread on his path.
Well, except for his girl,
right?
Which eventually did get him killed,
right? And then with that, it just kind of, once he turned into the Joker, that it was like all gloves are off. Like, I can do whatever I want to.
Yeah, and it really just released who he really was, as opposed to what I guess he was trying to be. But I'd say if you would have played him more meek, I could have seen it as a choice.
Right.
But to me, that just didn't feel like a choice. It felt like he just wasn't making a choice.
Do you think it was a director's choice to make him just like, oh no, just stay that way?
Well, it's Burton. You never know what he's doing.
Maybe,
honestly. So he's not as controlling as I think he really trusts his actors, and I think that. I mean, by every report of Nicholson, whenever he shows up to work, he's got things in his contract. He shows up later than anybody else, and because he likes to party, and that might have just been okay. Well, I'm just trying to figure out this character right now. I got to put everything into the big guy, and right now I'm just gonna read my lines, and that's really what it felt like.
Okay, I could see that. I could see that could be a valid point. Yeah.
Wow, this went a long time for we just forgot who he was. Forgot to talk about him. Okay, well, I think that now are we done?
Now I think we've concluded the Batman 1989 film.
Outstanding. I hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, did you catch the spoilers? Kaj, why don't you tell people how to get a hold of you, sir?
Once again, I don't really do Twitter that often, but if you want to catch me on Twitter, I am at IHeartGeek_Kaj, and I'm mainly on the Facebook. If you want to check me out on Facebook, I am on the iHeartGeek podcast Facebook page, or if you want to look me up for Michael Close _Koch, you can find me over there.
Nice. And you can catch me on Twitter at Comic Not Geek. If you want to catch the show on Twitter, we talk a lot on there. It is the iHeartGeek Show. Yeah, the at.
Yes.
Don't forget the at sign.
Yes.
I'm sure you guys know that because you guys are all smarter than me. So at iHeartGeek Show. And until next week, I'm Dub.
I'm Kaj.
Keep on geeking on.
I'm Batman.
You've been listening to iHeartGeek. Our Twitter account is at iHeartGeekShow. Hope you enjoyed the show.